Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In last class, we were talking about the basic understanding of function, and we have explained the definition as well as we have done some numerical questions of function. And I would like to revise the definition and concept before go forward. As you know, function is a device between input and output, and we can call input is a domain and output is named as a range. And furthermore, we have discussed the restricted domain and restricted range. The restricted domain means all inputs. All input means one is minimum, second one is maximum. There are two types of inputs. One is minimum, second one is maximum. Then we can say that it's restricted domain. And the second one is output. Output is range, restricted range. One is minimum, second one is maximum, and we can name it restricted range. Question number 1 to 16. Those deal with some numerical questions. There are straightforward function, and we have to simply put the values of input, and then we can determine the value of output. We have also done with question number 41, that was applied nature question, and that was cost function, and cost is a combination of variable and fixed cost. तो उसको भी हमने cover किया था, and we have determined how many units can be produced. Upper limit was given, and we have calculated if the firm produces 50,000 units, then what will be the total cost. If the firm produces no unit, then how much it will cost, and we have discussed that question. And in a function, there could be a positive relationship or negative relationship between independent and dependent variable or input or output variables. So if there is positive relationship or direct relationship, then we can simply say that due to increase in input, the output will be increased. If there is inverse relation, then we can say due to increase in input, output will be decreased. And we all know about the shape of graph. If there is inverse relation, the curve will be, the movement of curve is left, right, downward. If there is direct relation, the movement of curve will be left, right, upward. We have discussed in detail in our chapter number 2 as well as in chapter number 1. Okay, if we look at question number 42 and 43 up to question number 64, these are applied nature questions. Here we are having the corporate nature questions. As we know that we are business students, and business students mostly deal with corporate sector. And here we are having the mathematical function. How mathematical function can be utilized in our real life or corporate sector. Here we have a demand function. Demand function. What is the question number 42? Can you read it?
Demand function. The function Q is equal to f of t is equal to 2,80,000 minus 35. P is a demand function which expresses the quantity demanded of a product Q as a function of the price charged for the product P stated in dollars. Determine the restricted domain and range for this function.
Okay, we have a function which is a price function. F of the function is demand. Quantity demand is function of price. It means quantity demand is depending on price. Function is given. What is function?
2,80,000.
80,000 is constant. Minus 35p. So look at the question. What is slope? Either slope is positive or negative. Slope is negative. Obviously, there is inverse relationship between. If price is increased, quantity demand will be decreased. And they are having inverse relationship. If price is minimum, then quantity demand will be maximum. Okay, what is our concern? We have to determine restricted domain and restricted range. Restricted domain and restricted range. So, minimum price of anything can be 0. Minimum price of anything can be 0. If price is minimum, then quantity demand will be maximum. If price is quantity demand, the quantity demand of anything could be 0. It means the price is high, price is maximum, quantity demand is minimum. So first we can determine if price is 0 and 0 is the minimum price. It means minimum input. Then we can find maximum output, because there is an inverse function in demand function or quantity demand. There is inverse relationship between price and quantity demand. So if price is 0, then we can find quantity demand. Is it clear? So Q is equal to f of 0 is equal to 280,000 minus 35 into 0. Minus 35 into 0. So quantity demand when price is equal to 0, then quantity demand, the number of units can be produced, can be demanded are equal to 280,000. 280,000 units. And why we are writing units here? Because it's quantity demand. If we are talking about price, then we will be writing dollar, or whatever the unit is, we will be writing with respect to price. Here, when price is minimum, demand is maximum. Why we extended from minimum to maximum? Because there is inverse function. There is inverse relationship. There is negative slope between input and output. So then obviously we will be finding minimum to maximum. As you know, how much can be the minimum demand? What can be minimum demand? Minimum demand of anything can be 0. So if Q is equal to 0, that is a minimum demand, that is a minimum output in this function, then we can find price. What can be maximum price? What can be maximum price? So if Q is equal to 0, then 280,000 minus 35 P. Is it first degree equation?
Yes.
How to solve?
Variables on one side and constant on
Shift the variable, one side constant, other side. 35 P is equal to 280,000. Then we can simplify. What's the sum? Can you calculate? 280 divided by 35. What is the exact value?
8,000.
8,000. Is it dollar?
Yes.
Well, unit is dollar. Unit is dollar. Got the point?
Yes.
How we can write with restricted domain and range? RD is equal to domain. Input is price. Minimum price is
0.
maximum price is
8,000.
minimum price is 0. Maximum price is 8,000. Concept clear?
Yes.
And how we can write RR means restricted range. Minimum quantity is
0.
minimum quantity is 0. Maximum quantity is
280,000.
280,000. 280,000. Concept clear?
Yes.
The question is same as we have done with question number 41. In question number 41 we are having positive slope. Here is negative slope. Because that was about cost function, the nature of variable, the nature of function is important. In different variables are having positive relationship, and different variables have inverse relationship, and we have to deal as per the nature of question or given function. I think it's question number 42. Question number 43 is the same question. That is also a demand function, and you can follow the same approach to solve that question. I think we will be not having any problem to deal with this question, question number 43. And question number 44, that is also an applied nature question. We can simplify that question as well. Can you read it, Isra?
An insurance company has a simplified method of determining the actual premium for a term life insurance policy. A flat annual fee of $150 is charged for all policies plus $2.50 for each $1,000 of the amount of the policy. For example, a 20,000 policy has
Okay. Here is an insurance policy case which is having two types of cost. One is a fixed straight, or we can say flat fee. One is a flat fee plus 2.5 on every $1,000. So that is a function, premium function, and what we have to determine in this question, we have to determine the function. In this question, we have to determine the function. If you look at last line, determine function which can be used to compute the annual premium. Compute the annual premium. Let P is annual premium. Let P is annual premium, and we can say C is charge policy. Charge X, whatever you want, you can take its name as X. You can take its name as X. So we can इसको स्टॉप करते हैं. हमारा ये अजीब सा वीडियो लेक्चर था अपने आप एक्स्ट्रा क्लास. इसको स्टॉप करें. In this case, we have to determine the function. Function, there are two costs. One is flat fee, and flat fee is $150. That is a fixed fee. That is a constant. Which is a fixed fee, that is a constant. So we can write what is the value of constant? 150. Is there plus or minus? Plus. What is the next amount? 2.5 into C. We have to determine the function. What is function? How we can extract the function from the given scenario. Scenario is given. Here we are talking about a premium policy that is related to insurance case. Our concern was we have to simplify we have to determine the function. We have to determine the function. Clear? So that question number 45 only deals with how we can extract the function. Clear, students?
Yes.
Question number 45, we have simply, we need to put the value of 50,000 into the value of CRX, then we can determine the overall premium. It means in next question we have the value of C. That is equal to 50,000. We can place that value. Instead of C. Then we can determine the annual premium. Okay, I think you can easily solve that question. So question number 46, question number 47 also same as question number 44 and 45. Now we move forward to question number 48. Question number 48. What is question number 48? Can you read it?
Auto leasing. A car rental agency leases automobiles at a rate of $15 per day plus $0.08 per mile driven. If Y equals the cost in dollar of renting a car for 1 day and X equals the number of miles driven in 1 day, determine the function Y is equal to f of X, which expresses the day.
In this case, there is a leasing case. If someone wants to lease a car, there is a fixed fixed fees, per day fees plus number of mileage, that is a variable fees. Okay, we have to determine the function. They have stated that on left side of the equation we have to place y is function of x, and we have to determine the function, and that function is combination of fixed fees as well as variable fees, variable fees. So y is equal to f of x, What is fixed fee per day? $15 plus every mile they have to bear how much amount?
0.08.
0.08, that is cost on every mile. Okay, so it depends on x, so as we have explained in detail that we have to carefully understand the question, what information is given and what we have to extract from that scenario. In this scenario, we are having a leasing function, or auto lease function, and which is having per day fixed cost, per day fixed fee as well as per mile fee, and that is combination of fixed as well as variable fee. Okay, and in per day we have to determine the function. Per day we have to determine function. What is part B?
What is f of 300? What does f of 300 represent?
Yes. What is f of 300? Y is equal to f of 300. What's value of x in this case?
300.
It means if they drive how many miles? 300 miles. What will be the cost? Okay. So we can simply place the value of x, that is equal to 0.08 into 300. Can you calculate? 15 plus 0.08 multiplied by 300? 24. What sum?
39.
$39. So how we can interpret, if they drive 300 miles, then they have to bear how much? $39. They have to bear the fee. Clear?
Yes.
Question was related to, we have to determine the value of, if they drive maximum 300, and how much they will cost, how much it will cost them. In part C, we have to determine restricted domain. Restricted domain. As you know, restricted domain is minimum and maximum input. Here will be the maximum input is
300.
minimum input 0. They can drive minimum miles, that can be equal to 0. But they will bear the
15.
fixed cost. If x is equal to 0, that is a minimum. Why we are going to determine minimum? Because we are talking about restricted domain and restricted range. In this case, we are not concerned about range because we have to determine restricted domain. When x is 0, y is equal to f of 0 is equal to 15 plus 0.08 into 0. As you know, when x is 0, y is always equal to constant. It's x-intercept. It's x-intercept. It's y-intercept. When x is 0, y is equal to constant. We have extensively discussed in our chapter number 2. So y is equal to f of 0 is equal to 15. Okay, students. So we have to determine the restricted domain. Its output. Our concern is to determine inputs. Inputs means minimum and maximum. So RD is equal to, what is minimum input? 0 is less than, is it x?
Yes.
What is maximum?
300.
300. We have to determine the restricted domain of this given function. I think there is nothing related to confusion in this case. and it's very simple, but the important thing is you have to carefully understand the question, what is given and what we have to determine. Clear? So question number 49, question number 50, they are same questions. You can go through by yourself. If any of you is having problem, then you can ask me, then we can discuss. Question number 51, important question, and I need your concentration, then we can simplify question number 51. Yes, you read.
A small health club is trying to stimulate new memberships for a limited time. The normal annual fee of $300 per year will be deducted.
Okay, the annual fees is
$300 per year.
That is a fixed fee. That is a fixed fee. Then
Will be reduced to $200.
they have new policy. They are giving the waive or some discount there. Their members. The first fees was 300, and they have revised the policy. Now the fixed fees is 200. Now the fixed fees is 200. Next question.
As an additional incentive for each new member is excess of 60, the annual charge for each new member will be further reduced by $2.
Okay, they are having further incentive. If any member is having number of orders more than 60, further he or she will get the discount of $2. Discount, whenever we take discount, either it will be plus or add, plus or negative. So we have to determine the function. Determine the function P is equal to f of n. P is equal to f of n. What is P? P is premium fee and n is number of orders, or we can say number of new members. So P is function of n. What is annual fees? 300, but they have reduced
200.
So it's 200 minus, if number of members are exceeded, then 60. Is it?
Yes.
There is a condition in question. If number of members are exceeded, then 60. Then $2 is going to be applied. Minus, further they have discount of $2. When? If n is
60.
If n minus 60, or we can say if n is greater than
60.
then it will be applied. Otherwise, it will not be applied. Okay? So you should be very careful and vigilant while reading the question. What information is given and what we have to extract. Clear? In this case, we have to simply determine the function. In this case, we have to simply determine the function. So, annual premium is depending on the number of new members, and the fixed fees, first it was 300 and they have given the discount and it's reduced to 200, and further they are having a condition, if number of members are exceeded, then 60, then it will be having discount of $2. If there are 59 members, so this discount will be applied or not? If 60 minus 60 is equal to 0, it will be not applied. If 61, then it will be applied. If 100 minus 60, then the minus 2 will be applied to rest of the members exceeding 60. I think there is nothing difficult in this question, and we have to determine the function. Determine the function. Here we are just about to determine the function. Clear? So question number 52 to question number 59, they are more or less same. They are composite function or multivariate function. When we are having more than one variable, more than one independent variable, then we can say multivariate function. If there are more than one independent variable, then we can say multivariate function. So question number 52 to question number 51. Look at these questions. Do we have one variable and dependent variable or more than one independent variable? More than one independent variable, and every variable is having their input or value, then we can determine the output. Very easy questions. Question number 51 to question number 59. If we look at question number 52, what is question number 52? Yes,
f of x and y,
f of x and y is equal to
x square
x square
minus 6xy
minus 6xy
plus 2y square.
plus 2y square.
Determine f of 0, 0
In part A, we need to determine f of
of 0, x
0 and 0. The value of inputs means the value of x and
y.
are equal to 0. So we can simply put the value of x and y in this question, and obviously something having value 0, if input is 0, output is 0, because in this function we don't have constant. If there is constant, then the value will be equal to constant. So 0 square minus 6 into 0 into 0 plus 2 into 0 is equal to 0. If input is changed, what is input in part B?
Minus 1 and 2.
F of minus 1 and 2. The value of x is
Minus 1.
value of y is
2.
2. We can place in this function the value is equal to 2 square minus 6 into value of
Minus 1 square.
minus, here the value of x is minus 1. Next 6 into value of x is minus 1, value of y is 2 plus 2 into 2 square. Clear, students? Then we can simplify. So minus 1 square is equal to 1 minus minus plus 6 multiplied by 1 6 multiplied by 2 12 plus 2 square is 4 multiplied by 2 8. So the sum is 21. I think we have determined, we have values of input and we can determine the value of output. We also have a C part, the inputs value are getting changed, then you can simplify. What is the function f of
5 and 10.
5 and 10? As I know, you have enough skills to determine this value. So, question number 53, 54, 59, 58, they are same questions, and which question, and we can solve any of the question out of these. We can make a practice of question number 59.
Yes.
What is question number 59?
F of x1,
F of
x1,
x1,
x2,
x2,
x3,
x3
and x4
and x4
is equal to x1,
is equal to
x1,
x1
x2
plus x2,
multiply x2
x1, x2, okay,
minus 5 x3, x4,
minus 5
x3, x4.
x4,
Determining
yes, part A,
f of 1,
f of 1,
10,
10,
4,
4
minus 5.
minus 5. Look at this question, we have 4 variables, x1 to x4, and we have values of those 4 variables, and function contains all these variables, and we can simply put the values of x1, x2, x3, x4 in this the expression, then we can determine. What is value of x1? 1. x2 is 10. Minus 5 into x3 is
4.
x4 is
Minus 5.
minus 5. We can sum it
10.
10 minus minus plus
25.
20 multiplied by 5 is equal to
25.
120. 100, 110. 110. Okay, students? The rest of the parts you get easily solved. Okay, then question number 62, question number 64. 60 is very simple question. You have a function, then you can put the value of this function by putting the value of input, then you can determine the question. Question number 61 is also same question. Question number 62. I need your concentration, and it's a very important question. There is a condition, we can simplify it. Okay, you have to read question number 62.
A women's resource center which provides housing for women and children who come for abusive homes is undertaking a grassroots fundraising effort within the community. One component of the campaign in the sale of two types of candy bars. The profit from the candy is $0.50 and $0.75 per bar respectively.
Look, there are two types of candies. And they are having profit on each type of candy. Two type of candies, so obviously we are having two variables. We are having two variables. Yes.
A women resource center which provide housing for women and children who came from abusive homes is undertaking a grassroots fundraising effort within the community. One component of the campaign is the sale of two types of candy bars. The profit for the candy is $0.50 and $0.75 per bar respectively.
Okay, there are two types of candies. Actually, there is a campaign. They are going to facilitate the community by giving them the offer. They can sell and they can generate profit. There are two types of candies. Let x1 is
0.50.
Let x1 is candy 1. X2 is
Candy 2.
and x1 coefficient is 0.50 and x2 coefficient is
0.75.
0.75. Next, please.
The supplier of the candy has offered an incentive if the total number of candy bars sold exceeded 2,000.
Yes.
For each bar over 2,000, an additional 0.25 will be earned by the center.
Okay. There is a condition. They are giving the incentive. They are engaging their salesman. If their sale exceeded, if their sale is exceeded, then 2,000 numbers, then they give the further incentive of $0.25. Same question which we have done, I think question number 40, question number 50. Here is also condition. When 0.25 is going to apply if sale is exceeded 2,000 units. Sale of both candy 1 and candy 2. If a salesperson, if his or her sale is exceeded 2,000 units of candy 1 and candy 2, then he or she can earn $0.25 extra. So, next please.
Determine the function P is equal to f of x1 and 2, where P equals to the total profit in dollars.
Okay.
And x1 is equal to the number of bars sold of type J.
Okay. So in first case we have to determine the function. So function is P is profit is function of x1 and x2. What is x1? Candy bar 1. What is x2? Candy 2. So we have the values of x1.
750.
No. What is function? In previous question, what is coefficient of x1? 0.50.
0.50.
x1 plus 0.75 of x2. In part A, we have to simply determine the function. This plus, what is the condition? Plus $0.2 is an incentive. If there is an incentive, it will be going to plus or minus. Incentive. You are a salesman. Firm is going to give you an incentive. It means it's going to add. When it's going to add? Apply. If number of candy is greater than 2,000. If sale is greater than 3,000, then we can write n is greater than or 3,000. Okay. In first part, we have to determine the function. There are two types of variables, x1 and x2. And x1 coefficient is 0.50, x2 coefficient is 0.75. And there is a condition in the question. What is a condition? If the sale of candies is greater than 2,000, then they can have incentive of $0.25. And we have determined the function. That's it. Clear? And when this part is going to apply, if sale is greater than 2000. If total sale is 1500, I assume, then our question will be stopped. We can solve question, we can consider only these two components. Will be not considering this. When it is going to apply it, if sale is greater than 2000. Clear? Part B. Next question. Easy.
If 750 and 900 bar respectively are sold, what is
Okay. If X1 is
750
750 and X2 is
900
900, and what is N? N is X1 plus X2. N is X1 plus,
X2
what is X1?
750
750 plus
900
900 is equal to 1650. क्या इस पर ये अप्लाई होगा? Do you think this condition will apply on this question because the total sale is less than 2000? But we can determine the values of, we can place the value of x1 here, we can place the value of x2 here, then we can determine. Okay, so profit is equal to f of 750 and 900. So 0.50 into 750 plus 0.75 into 900. So is it going to apply or not? This part, incentive will not be applied because their sale is less than 2000. So it will be not be going to apply. What is sum? Here.
1050.
No, here. Tell me here.
375.
375 plus
675.
675 and profit is
1050.
$1050 is the profit. How we can interpret when he or she sell how many units? 1650 units of both candles, then he or she can have the profit which is $1050. Clear? Part C. What is part C?
If 1500 and 2250 respectively are sold.
If X1 is
1500
1500 and X2 is 2250. Then what is N?
X1 plus X2.
X1 plus X2 is equal to 1500 plus 2250 is equal to
3750.
50. So incentive case will be applied here or not?
Yes.
Well,
Because it exceeds.
because the sale is exceeded, then 200. Sorry, 2000. So F of, we can write here, profit is F of 1500 and 2250 is equal to 0.5 into 1500, 0.5 into 1500 plus 0.75 into 2250 plus 0.25. What is that? What is that?
3750.
3750 minus 2000. Minus 2000. So we can simplify f of 1500 minus 2550 is equal to, what's answer here?
750
750
plus
plus
1687.5.
1687.5 and here
0.25 into 1750.
into 1750.
50.
So what is sum? Just tell me the overall total value. So 750 plus 1687.5. What's value here?
437.5.
427.5. What is sum?
28.
28.
5.
$5.
Yes.
Yes. So how we can interpret? How we can interpret? If they sell 3,750 units, then he or she can earn $2,875
Dollars of profit.
on the candies. I think there is nothing related to country, and you can solve question number 63 and 64. Both are same questions. And that was all about exercise number 4.1, and that was about basics of function. And we have first discussed the what is function, what is domain and range, and first we solved simple questions, then we are having practical nature questions. And I hope you will make practice, and rest of the questions are part of your assignment, and I will see you in next lecture.